Welcome to today's episode of Eat the Cake, Drink the Wine, and Fuck Them People podcast. Today we are going to talk about podcast perfection using ChatGPT strategies for business growth. And I am your host, Coach Todd, because a lot of you are out there wanting to manifest a profitable and successful business. And as a business coach, it's only right that I give you the tea, and I'm going to give it to you for the free. All these other people want to charge you to learn how to use Chat GPT. Baby, I'm not going to charge you. All I'm asking you to do is click in the link down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And let me know in the comments if you are enjoying the content. Are you getting value out of this? Because I don't want to waste my time. I can always make more money, but I cannot make more time. So if you don't like it, let me know up front and you won't have to hear about it no more. But if at least one person can find the value in me teaching them how to use their chat GPT as the business coach and assistant, like really getting rid of a lot of minuscule tasks. So you can focus on what actually creates value. So let's go ahead and jump in. So you might be asking, well, Coach, what is Chat GPT? Chat GPT is this new tool that can actually interact with you and assist you map out so many different things for your business. But, this is just high level. I'm not going to go all into what Chat GPT is because, like I said, this is for the free. And I'm not being sponsored by Chat GPT. But if they want to go ahead and, holler at you, for some sponsorship, we can go a little bit deeper. But for now, all you need to know is that when communicating with ChatGPT about your business, providing detailed and specific information can help generate more accurate and relevant results. And response. So you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, you can't just open up ChatGPT and ask a question about your business or want it to do something for your business that you have not given it the commands to know your business, to understand your business. So the very first step in using Chat GPT is really giving Chat GPT the knowledge of your business. Like, what's your business name? What's your business overview? What's your target audience or your client avatar? What are your goals and objectives? What are your challenges and your pain points? But most importantly, when using ChatGPT, you need to be sure that it understands your brand voice and tone. And for example, a lot of times I'll put a command into ChatGPT and it comes back and I'm like, that doesn't really sound like my audience. So I'll say, can you make it sound a little more urban? I don't know why urban is the right word, but urban is the right word. And when it gives me something else after it regenerates, it's perfect and it fits everything that I have already fed into ChatGPT regarding the business overview of Keep Manifesting LLC and Eat the Cake, Drink the Wine, and Fuck Them People podcast. Regarding my target audience or my client avatar, my goals and my objectives, my challenges and my pain points, and the brand voice and tone. Because once you keep telling it, hey, make it sound a little more urban, it's like, oh, they want urban things. And then there was one post I did, and I needed to sound more political because it was for Twitter. So I asked them, could they make it sound more political? It did the job. So I just want to give a high level overview of ChatGPT and how it can help your business and the things that you should be mindful of and do in the beginning before you start giving prompts to ChatGPT to help you with your business. But first, because this is a podcast, so why would I do this and not have it targeted toward podcasters, right? Because those are the people I'm helping. That's the business. That's the niche that I went and dug down into. The niche of people that I want to help are those that want to start a podcast. So what you should know as of today, there are about 62% of U.S. consumers that listen to podcasts. 22% of adults prefer listening to podcasts while driving, and 52% of podcast listeners are male, and 48% are female. So why does that make sense? It makes sense because when you're doing a podcast, if they're driving, you don't want to do a podcast when they need to be looking at a whole lot of things. It means that it needs to be audible. It needs to be something that they can really capture. And if they need to come back later, then fine. But be sure that what you're talking about can be heard, that you're not just talking off of a piece of something that you're showing on the screen and they can't see the screen. I hope that makes sense to you because it makes sense to me. But we're going to jump into the business overview when using ChatGPT. So you have to understand the input required to maximize ChatGPT interaction for valuable output. So, Coach Todd, what do you mean when you say that? I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean when I say that. As soon as I type up my notes, because when I type up my notes, pull up my notes, excuse me, because I want to be sure that I'm giving you all the information that you need. So I need to scroll down. Oh no, this isn't it. Okay, so this happens and I have to own my mistakes. I had this form open with all of my notes because I want to be sure that I didn't miss anything. Here it is. So let me get to the section that I need to get to. And this is only a learning lesson for me to be better prepared before I go live on TikTok and decide to do a training video that I'll be posting on my YouTube. Okay, lesson learned. So let's see, it should be toward the bottom. Here it is. So when using ChatGPT for your podcast business or any business, but this is targeted toward those that are looking to start a podcast business. But a lot of this stuff, it's really going to be the same no matter what your business is. You want to provide specific and relevant information because it's essential for creating an accurate client avatar. Your client avatar is your target audience. A client avatar is also known as the customer persona or ideal listener. If you're going to have a podcast, if you're going to be selling items, then it's going to be your ideal clients. So you want to know what their profile is like. What are their likes and their dislikes? Like what are you targeting from that person? Like what is it about you that makes that person want to listen to your podcast? So by feeding that information into ChatGPT, it allows ChatGPT to understand the target audience better. So as it listens to your prompts and it starts to do those things that you are requesting it to do, it takes your target audience into consideration, as well as all of your business information that you've actually provided to ChatGPT. So here are some key pieces of information that you should share to determine your client avatar effectively. Now you might be saying, well, Coach, why aren't you showing this on your ChatGPT? Because I've already done it. I've done this way at the beginning when I started using ChatGPT. And at this point, I feel like I'm going into a year of using ChatGPT. And I'm like, you know what? I need to start showing people the tools and stuff that I use because I feel like that's more valuable. Well, I don't want to say more valuable. It's another level of value because, of course, I'm always sharing manifestation techniques and living a positive life and life of abundance, blah, blah, blah. But I never show you guys the tools. And I'm like, let me show you the tools and how to use them. So when you are looking to start your business or your podcast, you want to determine who is your client avatar. Part of your client avatar is going to be the demographic information. Well, Coach Todd, what do you mean when you say demographic information? So the demographic information would be, okay, the person's age. You might want to target teenagers. You might want to target people between the ages of 25 and 36. So you need to know what's their age. You want to know their gender. Are you targeting men and women or only women? Or is it only women between age of 45 and 62? Or is it men between the ages of 34 and 47? You have to know who is your target audience. So what you want to do is kind of think about your product or your brand, which is something else we're going to touch on. You want to think through that and say, okay, based on this product or service that I want to offer, who is the person that will benefit from it most, right? So this is when you're going to look at the demographic information. You want to look at the location. You want to provide information about the geographical location, such as the country, the city, or the region. Like, for example, if you're selling something that has to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, would you really want to sell that with a target audience of people that live or are from Atlanta? No, because they're going to be Falcons fans. So hopefully that gives you an idea. And like I said, with gender, you need to indicate if your audience is predominantly male, female, or diverse. If your target audience is LGBTQ, then you would want to mention that, right? And LGBTQ is how I say LGBTQ, and I think there's a plus on it. I say LGBTQ because this a whole lot of us. I just want to give it a name. Okay. And then age, specify the age range of your target audience. Part of the demographics as well is what are the interests and hobbies of your audience? Like, what do they like to do? So you want to list down the interests, the hobbies, and activities that your audience enjoys. And you also want to identify specific niches within these interests that align with your podcast topics. Because again, we're kind of doing it on podcasts, but you can just put whatever your product or service is in place of podcast and follow these same steps. All right. So, to give you an example, when I say identify specific niches within these interests that align with your podcast topics or whatever service or product you're selling. Say, for instance, if you wanted to target men between the ages of 32 and 40 that are Republicans. Their niches that, hey, they're a Republican. So you're going to try to let ChatGPT know that. So when you're asking ChatGPT to help you with different items, so I'm going to go into the different items that ChatGPT can help you with, including doing copy, which is a lot of work. And it comes out like that with ChatGPT. It takes all of this into consideration, right? So you also want to know what is their occupation and education, because are you targeting people that only have master's degree, or are you okay with targeting people that are high school dropouts? So you need to know that where's your audience at as far as their occupation and their education. Are you targeting teachers or are you targeting attorneys, or does it matter? Like if their occupation doesn't matter, then you don't make the occupation part of the client avatar. And then you need to determine if your audience includes students, professionals, entrepreneurs, etc. So my audience includes entrepreneurs because I'm doing this particular training simply for people that are starting their podcast as a business. Because as Donnie Wiggins says, run your podcast as a business. And I was like, say this, I got it. So I'm putting all of this stuff together, right? Then you want to know what are the challenges and pain points. Okay, we're still talking about client demographics. Identify the challenges, problems, and pain points your audience faces. Understand their goals and aspirations related to your podcast niche. Preferences and behavior. Determine how your audience prefers to consume content. Do they like podcasts? Do they like videos? Do they like blogs? And then understand their social media habits and preferred platforms. Like, so if you use mostly everything you do is on IG, you're not going to necessarily go with the flow. I have a lot of videos that will be coming out talking about the flow on the YouTube channel, which I would want you to go subscribe to right now. Thank you. Appreciate it. But you have to be sure that you are connecting ChatGPT to the correct client avatar. Now, this is going to be good after this one point, because I got to get this point across about understanding demographic information as you build out your client avatar. And then the media consumption habits. Identify other podcasts, books, websites, or influencers your audience follows. Determine the types of content they find valuable and engaging, and that's the type of content that you want to plug in to give them the energy, right? So, and beliefs. You want your client avatar to share the same value and beliefs as you. Like if you're heavily religious, you're not necessarily going to say, I want an atheist as part of my client avatar, even though atheism is a form of religion. It's a form of religion people. But atheists say, I don't believe in God. Well, that is your religious belief that there's not a God. But if you're, highly religious and you believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy, that's not going to be your audience. Like, because you're just going to be arguing with somebody all day. They're not going to bad nothing. They're going to waste your time. Okay. So be sure that you understand their values and beliefs, their ideologies that resonate with your audience, and identify causes or social issues that they care about. And feedback and responses. Always ask for feedback and responses because your ideal client will always tell you what you're doing good, what you can do better, what you need to stop doing, or what you need to start doing. Always, always, always ask for feedback and responses. And always understand that constructive criticism is critical to your business. A lot of people get constructive criticism and they get offended, but that is actually something that you should take and transmute into a positive to help your business grow. It might be a product that you're carrying that nobody likes, it sucks, and you knew nothing about this, but you got the information through feedback. And then they say, hey, but this product over here, it works great, but you don't carry it. So feedback and responses actually help you build your business. And then goals for listening should be determine what your audience aims to achieve by listening to your podcast, understand their expectations, and the value they seek from your content. Okay? So, when communicating the information to ChatGPT about your client avatar, the demographic information, be clear and concise. And you can provide the information in a structured format or incorporate it into sample conversations to demonstrate how your ideal listener might interact with your podcast. So you can either give ChatGPT a command such as, please be, or you don't have to say please, but it's just me. I'm polite, right? Please be sure to include this information regarding my client avatar when you give me what I request. And then I'll just feed it in, right? You can do it that way, or you can do a whole brain dump into ChatGPT about your business. My business is XYZ. My ideal client is between the ages of this and that. They are of African American descent. They are, you just whatever you feel like your ideal client is. That's what you're selling Chat GPT. And what's so great about it? Let's just say that's the tongue twister, right? Chat GPT. Can't say it that slow, but if you say it too fast, Chat GPT, I be tongue tied. But you can just do a whole brain dump into Chat GPT, and you do not have to type this. You can actually talk. You can talk into it. Just the same, right? So when I did, and just to share with you guys when I did mine, and this was probably, I was using Chat GPT for maybe 2.5 months before I realized I had to really connect it, right? I had to give the data input so it could give me the correct data output because it's still like a computer. I was like, oh, I never told Chat GPT what the name of my business was. I never told it what the client avatar is. I never said what we sell. I never gave it our mission, our vision. And I hadn't given any of that. So when I sat down and I fed all of this information into ChatGPT, it came back and said, thank you. That's very beneficial information, blah, blah, blah. Like it actually comes back and it like communicates with you. Like if you give it a request or a command and it can't do it, it'll say, I'm sorry, I'm unable, and it'll give you whatever, right? So it's really like communicating with you. So you're training it how to communicate with you and how to give you the information back. So we just went over the business overview when using ChatGPT. Okay. And you have to be sure that you provide the information that ChatGPT needs to give you the correct information when you're using it as your business coach, as your assistant. You can use ChatGPT to help you write outlines, books. You can use ChatGPT to give you ideas to post social media content. You can use ChatGPT to give you ideas how to make money. Like, believe it or not, you can say, hey, this is my business, and what is the best way to create revenue in the business? And it's going to give you suggestions. Like, when I tell you ChatGPT is so freaking dope, it makes no sense. But we're going to take this little pause for me to do another plug about podcasts. Thank you for subscribing to Eat the Cake, Drink the Wine, and Fuck the People podcast. But I'm going to add to the statistics that I'm about to give to you because there are more than 460 million podcast listeners. As you would expect, there are also millions of podcast listeners. At the moment, the global community of podcast listeners is around 464.7 million people. This is roughly 22% of all internet users. Remarkably, from 2022 to 2023, the number of podcast listeners grew by over 40 million. Experts project that by the end of 2024, there will be roughly 504.9 million podcast listeners around the world. Okay, I now listen to podcasts, and I am now a podcaster, right? And I hope my mic is micy because I got a new little mic and it got a little boom arm and all that on it, and I hear it. I'm like, I'm kind of feeling myself with the bonnet on and all that. Anywho. So I thought that was pretty dope to plug because I went to the podcast summit. I'm always plug the podcast summit because it just changed the way that I look at podcasts. It really just made me change everything. Now I'm a podcaster. Looking for sponsorship, Red Bull. We can have a conversation. Okay, for your target audience, this is the next thing you need to know. That you need to plug that into ChatGPT, which I touched on it when I was explaining that you need to be sure that you're plugging in your client avatar, but you want to be sure that you are very, very clear that you're defining your ideal customer or client, include the demographics, right? So the age, the gender, the location, include their interests, include their behaviors, include their pain points. Describe any specific segments within your target audience if applicable. So anything that you would use for marketing purposes, that's what you want to plug into ChatGPT because ChatGPT will help you with marketing. I'm like, this ChatGPT is so dope. I'm just like, look, I feel like ChatGPT should give me a sponsorship because that's all about this program. And every time I ask it to do something, I'm like, damn, that's so dope. That's so dope. And I'm like, y'all got it. Y'all got to get ChatGPT. So another thing you need to understand is that the goals and objectives of your company, you should give that to ChatGPT. So that kind of goes into your mission statement, your vision statement. Like, okay, what's your growth plan? Give it all of that information so it can help you. Now, when I had to write my vision and mission statement, I didn't have ChatGPT. I was writing that thing by hand on a piece of paper, and then I'm like, you know what? Just put it on the computer. And then I put it on the computer, and I'm like, this is a lot of work. But with my new business, once I fed everything into ChatGPT that it needed to know about my business, I simply told that ChatGPT, write the mission and vision statement for my company based on the data that I provided about my company. It did it. I told ChatGPT, write me a business plan. I told ChatGPT, this is such a tongue twister. I told it, help me write the outline to a manifestation journal. So something that would have taken me hours, just imagine, to write an outline. Because I wrote a business manifestation journal, right? And that was released last year on Amazon. It took me years to create this journal from start to finish. Years. Because I had to do everything. I had to do the research. I had to, I was just like, oh my God, okay, well, what do I want to put in there? Okay, what should the journal have? Let me see. Okay, the calendar. I'm going to put a calendar in the journal. Okay, what else? What else? This is business manifestation. Okay, I need to put some stuff about business. Okay, but what kind of stuff should I put about business? Okay, I'll put this. This was me for years trying to write this journal. In a matter of minutes, ChatGPT gave me an entire outline for a manifestation because I'm about to do another. So now that I have the outline, all I have to do is go in and fill in the gaps. And I can still use ChatGPT as an assistant to help me fill in the gaps. And then I can just proof it and tweak it and make it mine, right? So that's why I'm saying you can use ChatGPT as an assistant. You can use ChatGPT as a business coach. Like some of my clients, they will call me and they weren't sure about this or that, and then I have to help walk them through it. I had a client, they weren't sure of, okay, what's a KPI? So I had to introduce, this is what a KPI is. Where if you feed everything into ChatGPT about your business, you know what you can say? Tell me the KPIs that I should have to continue making my business profitable. It's going to do it for you. Like it'll do all of this. So when it comes to your goals and objectives of your business, when you have fed everything into your business that ChatGPT needs to know, you can go in and ask ChatGPT, hey, help me determine what my KPIs should be. Write my mission and vision statement. What should my 5-year plan look like? It goes and does all of this stuff for you. It's so super dope. And this is the reason why, and I really love you guys. I really love, look, this whole PowerPoint that I put together. Let's just give it up for a PowerPoint right now. You look, subscribe to the YouTube channel because I'm just dope. When it comes to me and media and creating, I realize I'm just at my own bench. Myself. Okay. But ChatGPT can save you time so you can focus on more value added tasks for your podcast. And like I said, this is really geared toward people that want to start a podcast business, but it works for any business. You just, whatever your product or service is, just replace that with what I'm talking about for podcast. So if you don't have 2 years, I took 2 years to create my business manifestation journal, right? And then I said, okay, I'm going to do another journal. ChatGPT gave me a whole outline in minutes. Okay, minutes. So feed it every single thing that you need. And I really want to, I don't have enough time because the sweet spot for podcast is 30 minutes. And we're coming up on 30 minutes right now. But I want you to know that by providing the detailed information, ChatGPT can offer more tailored advice, generate marketing copy, help with customer interactions, and provide strategic suggestions that align with your business goals and values. The more context you provide, the more effectively ChatGPT can assist you in various aspects of your business. And what the real dopeness is about this, I decided today that I wanted to share this with people. ChatGPT, helped me write the outline. So in less than 8 hours, I was able to create the PowerPoint myself because ChatGPT gave me the outline. If you haven't tried it, I don't know what to tell you, but please be sure to go ahead and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And then there's a link that I'll have down below if you want to try ChatGPT out for yourself. And if you have any questions, let me know because I'll come back and do a follow-up for you. And stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to use Planoly as well. Thanks for joining. Peace out and